Forget what the movies told you. The Winchester 1873 was never some shiny prop spinning through a cowboy's fingers. It was a working tool, covered in dust, worn smooth by calloused hands, and trusted with lives. Today, we are counting down 15 facts about the rifle that earned a nickname no other firearm in American history ever claimed. No myths, no Hollywood tricks, just the truth. Number 15. The marketing slogan. The phrase, "the gun that won the West," was never spoken by a cowboy or a soldier. Winchester's advertising department invented it in 1919, nearly 50 years after the frontier had closed. The slogan appeared in catalogs and advertisements during a time when the rifle's popularity was already fading to newer models. By then, over 720,000 Model 1873s had already rolled out of the factory gates. The marketing came late, but the rifle had already done its work across cattle trails, mining camps, and homestead farms for decades before anyone in a corner office thought to give it a catchy name. Number 14. The cartridge that changed everything. The Model 1873 arrived with a brand new round called the .44-40 Winchester. The numbers meant something specific: a .44 caliber bullet pushed by 40 grains of black powder. This centerfire cartridge fired a 200-grain lead bullet at around 1,245 feet per second from a 24-inch barrel, delivering roughly 688 foot-pounds of energy at the muzzle. Older Henry rifles used weaker rimfire ammunition with copper cases that sometimes burst under pressure. The new .44-40 used stronger brass cases that held up to repeated firing and could even be reloaded by hand out on the trail. On a frontier where the nearest general store might be 100 miles of hard riding away, that kind of self-reliance mattered. Number 13. One rifle, one revolver, one cartridge. In 1878, Colt started offering their single-action Army revolver, chambered in .44-40. They called it the Frontier 6-shooter. Suddenly, a cowboy or lawman could carry both a rifle and a pistol that used the exact same ammunition. When outlaw Frank James surrendered in 1882, someone asked why he favored the Winchester 1873 and the Remington revolver. His answer was simple: the cartridges of one filled the chambers of the other. There was no confusion of ammunition. In a close, hot fight, with a dozen men shooting at you, you needed your ammunition all the same kind. Number 12. The toggle link action. The heart of the Winchester 1873 was a mechanism that worked like a bending knee. Push the lever forward, and it bent a pair of steel links that pulled the bolt backward, ejecting the spent cartridge and lifting a fresh round from the magazine into place. Pull the lever back and the links straightened, locking the bolt tight against the chamber. The system handled black powder pressures beautifully. A skilled shooter could fire all 15 rounds from a full magazine in about 60 seconds, maintaining accurate fire the whole time. That kind of firepower was unheard of when most soldiers still carried single-shot rifles that required loading after every pull of the trigger. Number 11. The steel receiver. Earlier Winchester rifles, like the Model 1866, nicknamed the Yellow Boy, used a brass alloy frame. Brass was fine for the weaker rimfire cartridges of that era. The Model 1873 needed something stronger to handle the new centerfire round. Winchester built the receiver from iron at first, then switched to steel around 1884. That steel frame gave the rifle the strength to handle harder use in rougher conditions. A brass frame could warp or crack under repeated firing. Steel held up year after year in the hands of men who depended on it. Don't forget to leave us a like and hit the subscribe button if you like our video. Thank you. Number 10. Production numbers. Winchester manufactured over 720,000 Model 1873 rifles between 1873 and 1919. The first year started slow with only 18 rifles shipped in 1873 and 108 the following year. Sales picked up after the 1875 catalog promoted the new rifle, and by the 1880s, the factory in New Haven, Connecticut, was turning out thousands every year. Workers put in 11-hour days on weekdays and 10 hours on Saturdays for around $600 a year. The standard rifle sold for about $40 to $50 in the 1870s. By the 1890s, economies of scale dropped prices to as low as $18. That made it affordable for ordinary settlers, ranchers, trail hands, and hunters who needed reliable firepower without spending a fortune. If you have made it this far, you clearly appreciate the real history behind the legends. Hit that like button so I know to keep digging up more forgotten frontier stories. Number 9. 3 model variations. Collectors today identify the Model 1873 by its dust cover design. The first model, serial numbers 1 through about 31,000, had grooved guides on each side of the receiver to hold the dust cover in place. The second model, serial numbers 31,000 to 90,000, used a single central guide rail secured with 2 screws. The third model, serial numbers above 90,000, featured a guide rail machined directly into the receiver. Each change made the rifle more reliable and easier to manufacture. The third model was produced in the largest numbers and is the most common among surviving examples today. Number 8. The rifle, carbine, and musket. Winchester offered the Model 1873 in 3 main configurations. The standard rifle had a 24-inch octagonal barrel and could hold up to 15 rounds in its tubular magazine. The carbine version had a shorter 20-inch round barrel with a saddle ring for horseback carry, holding 10 to 13 rounds depending on caliber. The musket featured a 30-inch barrel with bayonet lugs designed to win military contracts. Fewer than 5% of all Model 1873s were muskets. Winchester also filled custom orders for barrels as short as 12 inches and as long as 37 inches. The company would build almost anything a customer wanted. Number 7. Caliber options. The .44-40 was the original chambering and remained the most popular throughout production. In 1879, Winchester added the .38-40, and in 1882, the .32-20 joined the lineup. All 3 cartridges were also available in Colt revolvers, maintaining the 1-caliber advantage that frontier shooters valued. A rimfire version in .22 short and .22 long appeared in 1884 and stayed in production until 1904. Over 19,000 rimfire rifles were manufactured, appealing to small game hunters who wanted the Winchester action in a lighter caliber. Number 6. The 1 of 1,000. In 1875, Winchester started testing every rifle barrel for accuracy before assembly. The rare barrels that shot with unusual precision were set aside and built into special rifles featuring set triggers, deluxe walnut stocks, and premium finish work. These were marked 1 of 1,000 and sold for $100 when a standard rifle cost around $40. Winchester manufactured only 136 of these rifles before quietly ending the program. The advertising had backfired, making regular rifles seem inferior by comparison, which actually hurt overall sales. Today, a genuine 1 of 1,000 can sell for well over $400,000 at auction. Fewer than 60 are known to survive, and collectors consider them the holy grail of American production firearms. Number 5. Famous users. Buffalo Bill Cody wrote to Winchester in 1875, declaring the rifle to be the boss for hunting. He posed with Model 1873s in countless promotional photographs throughout his career. Texas Ranger James Gillett purchased his .40-40-40 carbine from a gun store in Austin on December 1, 1875, for $40. During his 6 years with the Rangers, he estimated he rode 10,000 miles on horseback and used that rifle to kill 27 deer, 77 wild turkeys, and a dozen javelinas in just 4 months of one winter camp. The famous photo of Billy the Kid shows him holding a Model 1873 carbine. Photographs of Apache warriors, including relatives of Geronimo, show them carrying Winchester lever actions acquired through trade or capture. Number 4. The Battle of the Little Bighorn. On June 25, 1876, Lieutenant Colonel George Custer led the 7th Cavalry against a combined force of Lakota, Cheyenne, and Arapaho warriors numbering between 1,200 and 2,500. The soldiers carried single-shot Springfield carbines. Modern archaeology has confirmed that at least 8 Model 1873 Winchesters in .44-40 were fired by Native American warriors during that fight. Warriors also used Henry rifles, Model 1866 Winchesters, Spencers, and various captured military weapons. The lever-action repeaters could fire up to 16 rounds without reloading, giving warriors a devastating rate of fire advantage against the single-shot Springfields that required reloading after every shot. When the gun smoke cleared, 268 soldiers lay dead, including Custer himself and 2 of his brothers. Number 3. International military use. The United States Army never formally adopted the Model 1873. Military thinking of the era favored single-shot rifles as more economical with ammunition. Other nations saw things differently. The Ottoman Empire purchased 30,000 Model 1873s for their troops during the Russo-Turkish War of 1877 to 1878. Turkish soldiers used the rapid-fire lever actions against massed Russian formations, inflicting over 20,000 casualties during 2 major attacks. The rifle also appeared in the War of the Pacific, the Spanish-American War, the Boxer Rebellion, and the Mexican Revolution. Winchester sold to anyone who could pay. Number 2. The Forgotten Winchester. In November 2014, archaeologists conducting a routine survey in Great Basin National Park stumbled upon something extraordinary. A weathered Model 1873 was leaning against a gnarled juniper tree in a remote rocky outcrop near Wheeler Peak. Its wooden stock cracked and turned gray. Its barrel rusted the same brown as the surrounding bark. It had blended into that tree so perfectly that nobody had spotted it for over a century. The serial number indicated manufacture in 1882. An X-ray at a local hospital, filed under the patient name Rifle, revealed a live point .44-40 cartridge, still hidden in a compartment inside the buttstock. The cartridge dated between 1887 and 1911 based on its manufacturer's stamps. Someone had modified this rifle to fire only single shots by removing internal parts, then leaned it against that tree and never came back. Maybe a hunter forgot it in a snowstorm. Maybe the owner died somewhere out in those mountains. Experts at the Buffalo Bill Center of the West stabilized the rifle in a state of arrested decay, preserving the rust and weathering exactly as it was found. It now sits on permanent display at the Park Visitor Center. The questions surrounding it will probably never be answered. Number 1. The legacy. The Winchester Model 1873 was never the most powerful rifle of its era. It was never the most accurate at long range. Historian Mike Venturino who owns and shoots original 70s threes, calls it a 150-yard rifle chambered for a dinky little handgun cartridge, capable of about 3-inch groups at 100 yards, with sights too coarse for precision work beyond that. The toggle-link action could not handle the high-pressure, smokeless powder cartridges that came later. By the 1890s, newer Winchester models designed by John Moses Browning were already replacing it on store shelves. Production officially ended in 1919, though some rifles were assembled from leftover parts as late as 1923. What the Model 1873 had was reliability and firepower, when those two things meant the difference between eating and starving, between living and dying. It fed families across the Great Plains. It defended homesteads from raiders. It fought wars on 4 continents and rode in saddle scabbards from the Texas border to the Montana high country. It became so famous that a 1950 film starring Jimmy Stewart was named after it. Universal Pictures launched a nationwide search for surviving 1 of 1,000 rifles as part of the promotional campaign, offering a brand new Winchester carbine to anyone who could prove they owned an original. That publicity campaign transformed these rare rifles into the most sought-after production firearms in American collecting history overnight. Thanks for watching Bullet and Saddle. See you in the next video.